Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of These Aren't the Nerds You're Looking For. Lorenzo Phan over here with
Kevin Hord.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. That? Yeah, we have a nice bonus episode that we're dropping, and we are also doing something special. We're trying to experiment a little bit. For our audio listeners, we are testing out video this time. I'm looking right at my camera that I have set up. Kevin's waving to his. So, if you'd like on YouTube, our episodes have been going onto YouTube, but we're gonna try this video thing and see how we do.
Yeah, we would like to. I wouldn't say transition to strictly original content as far as original videos on YouTube, but it's something that we would like to incorporate into the show as well to. Branch out and take the next step and do some more stuff. Yeah, just adding a visual component, but the podcast will remain as is. We're still just going to be sitting here talking. So for sure. So we'll see how this goes. But our special episode today, we will be talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special. Woohoo! So I had never seen this before sitting down to watch this for this podcast. Had you seen this before? One time, almost 10 years ago. Oh, wow. Friend of the show, they call me K-Dub, got married out of town. So on the flight to his wedding, I had an old iPod video. At the time, it wasn't old. Now it's old. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is one thing I made sure to load up on my iPod video to be able to watch while I was on the plane. So very nice. Can't believe you picked this of all things. I was excited about it. I was like, okay, because I had downloaded it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know where I got the file for that one, but it was on my computer and I'd never watched it. And so the computer I had at the time was like an old Dell that I bought when I first went away to college, and it cost me like more than my first two cars put together. And I upgraded to like a DVD burner and all this jazz that cost me like so much extra money that would sound ridiculous if I said it out loud now, but that was many years ago. Mm-hmm. And the holiday special file was actually large enough that it did not fit on a DVD. Oh wow, yeah. So I never had the opportunity to watch it. Yeah, like DVDs can hold like what, 4.5 gigs, something like that. I don't really know. Yeah, but you're the audio video guy. Something like that. Idea. Yeah. So, anyways, now it's on YouTube. That's how I watched it. Watched it streaming straight through my PS4, right onto a nice TV. It was a nice, clean copy. I don't know where people were getting these copies from. Let's start with some general information. Sure. It aired November 17th, 1978. It aired on CBS. Mm-hmm. The version I watched started with a little pre-roll that mentioned that it took over Wonder Woman and Incredible Hulk's TV time slot. So yeah, so mine actually had a commercial before that, and it was a commercial for the Star Wars collection of toys, and it was C-3PO and R2-D2 standing there, and C-3PO was like, "Oh, you need to go and buy this collection of Star Wars toys." So it was that commercial, and then it definitely went to the played in lieu of Wonder Woman and Incredible Hulk will not be seen tonight. Mm-hmm. And it was for the holiday special. So again, that's November 17th, 1978. It celebrated its 40th anniversary this year, and it aired on CBS. And the reason I kind of want to cut you off before we kind of talked about other releases, as far as I'm aware, the only home release was like a VHS 10 years after the fact. So what I've seen is that any home release is unofficial. Oh, okay. After this aired, George Lucas's comments were that he wished that he could hunt down every copy and smash them with a sledgehammer. Right. So it aired one time on CBS, November 78, and that was it.
And that was
the
it.
only
It never
official
aired again.
release of this thing ever.
Yeah.
You can buy it on DVD on like eBay and
Right.
stuff like that, but,
But all
there's
unofficial.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
no official anything.
So that said, I'll just do a quick run through of what happens in the holiday special, and then you and I can talk about just reactions to it, how we feel about it, what we maybe liked about it, if anything.
Yeah, I will try to keep my interjections to a minimum, but I can't promise anything.
Right. I'll just go through a really quick run through, like a 5-minute version. First of all, before I started watching this, I didn't realize the thing was 97 minutes long. It ran for a full 2 hours in prime time with commercials is what happened. So once the commercials got taken out, you're looking at about 97 minutes or so is what I was looking at. So
Yeah, mine was an hour, 38 minutes, and 37
Yeah.
seconds, I think is the version that I watched.
yeah. So that said, it's the Star Wars Holiday Special, but I'm still just gonna give this warning out just in case. Spoiler alert, I guess. There's nothing to spoil. The whole thing is a spoiler. So.
Right, because since it was only released one time, we definitely took our notes 40 years ago.
Right.
And it's a shame if you didn't see it back then, because there's nowhere you can find it.
Right.
Although I did read that I think it was on the set of, what was it? A pre-planning meeting for Clone Wars, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
George Lucas played this for the staff. I'm trying to remember why.
Just for shits and giggles, or
Maybe it was like the Gendy Tartakovsky Clone Wars, because we'll get to it, but there is an animated portion of during the holiday special, and the design for 3PO is very similar to the design for 3PO in another animated version.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during the production of that George Lucas actually did show this to the staff.
Yeah.
I just don't know which animated version exactly. So,
Yep.
sorry.
Here, let's just run through it,
Yep.
and then we'll talk about everything afterwards, all right?
Okay.
All right, so the special starts with Chewbacca and Han Solo on the Millennium Falcon. They are on their way to Kashyyyk, the Wookiee home planet. They are racing back so that Chewie can celebrate Life Day with his family, a Wookiee holiday. This is mentioned really quickly. There's definitely new footage. Harrison Ford is back. Everybody's back. That's the thing to get out of the way here. Everybody's back. Peter Mayhew is back. Mark Hamill's back. Carrie Fisher's back. David Prowse is back playing the body of Darth Vader. James Earl Jones is back playing the voice. Anthony Daniels comes back to play C-3PO. And R2-D2 is back as R2-D2, as mentioned in the opening credits.
Correct.
So, yeah, we get this super big, ridiculous intro that's like, the Star Wars Holiday Special. And it lists all those people. It lists a bunch of special guest stars, which we'll get through as I start describing what's happening. Anyways, so quick story. We cut to Chewbacca's family. There is Lumpy, his son, Mala, his wife, and Itchy, his father, all sitting around on Kashyyyk waiting for him to get back. There is no dialogue that we can understand. It's all in the Wookiee speak, growling, roaring. Lumpy's playing with an X-Wing. Itchy, the grandfather, is yelling at him. Mala steps in. She is in the kitchen, which is 1978. That's why I want to mention the date like 5 times over and over. 1978. So she's in the kitchen making that Life Day food. So, what do we got? So they're all worried that Chewie's not there. Again, there's no dialogue. This goes on for what feels like forever.
Well, there is dialogue, but it is all in
The
Shire
Wookiees.
Wook.
Yeah, all in the Wookiee speak. Shire Wook. Let's see. Oh God, I'm trying to keep track. Oh yeah, so then Itchy is trying to find something to entertain Lumpy. He grabs like a data disc and sits down at the like holographic table thingy, and then some circus performers start performing on the hologram thingy, and it's supposed to be a hologram, but it's on a TV budget with TV special effects. So we get that weird rotoscoping thing that happens. So there's like I don't know, was it 5 minutes? Was it 10 minutes? It felt like 50 minutes of just circus performers doing their thing. And Lumpy is just looking on. I'm not going to lie, though, real quick. There are some decent circus acts taken on their own. Like, there's some impressive acrobatics that happens.
Sure.
I do recall in the middle of both crying and laughing all at once, just letting out like a oh shit when something really cool happened. But then eventually the performance ends, and then they bow and Lumpy applauds to the hologram. Then Mala asks Lumpy to go help wash dishes or something like that.
Yeah, he's got to do chores.
Right, yeah, chores start happening. Mala then goes to a computer to search if any starships are in the area. I'm going to bring up really quickly that we get not Aurebesh on the screen that says like there are no starships in the area.
Yeah, there's definitely a mixture of just like space gibberish language and just regular English.
Right. Yep. Absolute
so,
regular English, just all over the place.
Yeah, this is before the solidification of Aurebesh in the Star Wars universe. So.
Definitely. So, concerned, she goes to a hidden view screen that's there's a
we
shelf.
can get back to that.
Yeah.
They got a hidden computer.
Yeah,
deal.
there's a hidden computer thing. She taps a few more buttons, and then Luke Skywalker shows up on the other side of the video call. Luke is working on his X-Wing, I think. It's barely visible. We just see like one large shaft thingy. R2-D2 is there.
He's working on something.
He's poking around. We get more Shire Wook speak. Luke understands and is like, what do you mean? Like, is Chewie there? Why isn't Chewie there? I'm sure Chewie's fine. And Mala and Itchy are all freaking out, and Luke, who for whatever reason has like a really short haircut and a lot of makeup on, so he kind of looks very, very feminine like.
Yeah, I think that I also have that in my notes for later.
So just a note there. But anyways, he is just trying to calm the situation and is like, hey, they're probably just stopped somewhere, don't worry. So basically next they go back to the other view screen and they meet a human dude named Sondan, right? I
didn't write his name down for a while,
right?
But yeah, it's something like that.
And so he is some sort of traitor. I don't know why they're watching this video. He doesn't acknowledge that. For a while, I couldn't tell if it was a video they were playing or if it was a call they were making. Sondan is interacting with an Imperial trooper in his shop who is trying to buy something. Then Sondan does turn to a camera and go, hey, don't worry, I have a present coming for you. And it was handmade Solo. Or something like that. It was like made by Han Solo.
Mm-hmm.
It was just...
Yeah, and he's like, your walking carpet is coming home.
Right. The carpet you ordered, and then there's this weird thing where the Imperial wants a groomer thing. The guard takes it, that
It's
section's
because
over.
this dude has a straight 70s fucking mustache and some sideburns sticking out from underneath his like gunner helmet.
Yeah, and the gunner helmet looks about 3 sizes bigger than we've seen in the first film, which is another weird thing. So anyways, we cut over to a Star Destroyer. Darth Vader's walking around. Some blockade setup has happened around Kashyyyk, so we get that much going. There's a search for rebels on Kashyyyk. We cut back to Kashyyyk. Mala is trying to prepare dinner, so she turns on another view screen to watch some cooking program.
She's watching a cooking show.
The cooking show features an alien named Gormanda, and Gormanda is a purplish lady who so she starts cooking away. She's starting to make something called Bantha Surprise. I'm going to note here that Chef Gormanda is being played by Harvey Korman of the Carol Burnett Show.
Yeah, Harvey Korman pops up a few times.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. So Mala is trying to cook along, but then it turns out that Gormanda is 4-armed, and so she's using all 4 arms to prepare this Bantha surprise. Mala gives up, turns the screen off. We cut back to Millennium Falcon. More mayhem's happening with Han and Chewie. We go back to Kashyyyk. An Imperial officer shows up on screen to announce that a blockade has been set, so they're freaking out. They get a knock at the door. They're all freaking out that they're thinking the Imperial troopers are inspecting their home or whatever. Grandpa Itchy goes to open it, and it's Son Dan who has brought them Life Day gifts. Mala and Lumpy go mess around with their gifts somewhere. Like Lumpy runs upstairs to his room, just dumps out this box of stuff. Son Dan then gives Itchy like this big chair thing with what looks like an old style giant hair dryer that goes over his head.
Did he bring that with him? I thought that was just there, and he was like, "Come on, Itchy, sit down. I got something for you."
Yeah, I don't fucking know what was happening. This was not clear to me. Anyway, so Itchy sits down in this chair. The thing goes down, and then we get like a solid at least 30 seconds, possibly 60 seconds of just weird kaleidoscope shit happening on screen. Then this one I'm going to take a little bit of time to describe. This is definitely the moment that I had no absolute fucking clue what I was watching. So we get kaleidoscope. Then we get a lady who is Diane Carroll. And
is that name familiar to you?
No, no idea. I have no idea who this is. I had to look this person up. She is talking for a while at first, and it's definitely just like some soft core sex shit that Itchy is listening to, because
it's more than that. This is just weird. What's the trader guy's name?
Son Dan. Yeah.
Son Dan gives him like human porno.
Right, that's what he exactly. Yeah. So to like describe it more,
goes to the extent where she's like, I am here for you. I am in your mind.
And she starts
in my mind.
Right.
I can feel you.
Yeah. No, she's like, I'm just here for your pleasure. Oh. Yeah. And then she goes into a song. Yeah, then she goes into a song, and the song goes on for a long fucking time.
I have no idea what it was about.
I don't know what the song was either. So, Diane Carroll, I am so sorry that time has forgotten you, despite being in the Star Wars special. I didn't look you up at all after the fact. So, This thing goes on for a long fucking time. Then we cut back to we get a view of Leia and C-3PO. Then Mala calls them. Same thing happens where Leia's like, hey, like, where's Han? Where's Chewie? Let me talk to them. I find it interesting that Luke can understand the Wookiees, but Leia cannot. So C-3PO is there translating, and more other shit happens. Blah blah blah. We cut back to Chewie. They're him and Han are making their way to Kashyyyk. They decide to land somewhere. So they're gonna have to walk.
They gotta land on the north side.
Right. So there's more issues there. I don't know. More issues. So let's see. What do we got? Lumpy hears the ship coming in. So everybody in the house is getting excited. So they're like, yeah, that has to be them. They're home. Son Dan is the one finally speaking so that we can understand somebody in this household. Mala opens.
Well, he's gone at this point.
No, he's still around because he interacts with the Imperials.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So we get Son Dan kind of translating everything for everybody. Mala opens the doors. There's 2 stormtroopers. Dun, dun, dun. Clearly cuts the commercial. Comes back in. Dun, dun, dun. And blasters are pointed at all of them. They freak out. They make their way in. There's a officer that's looking around. And they know who should all be living there. And they realize that there's a Wookiee missing. They start doing a search of the house. Then Son Dan distracts one of them by sitting them down and showing them like a contraption thing that he's messing around with. Opens the box up, and it's a little hologram of a band.
It's a rock concert in a suitcase.
Yeah, it's a rock concert in a suitcase, and it is Jefferson Starship, not to be confused with Jefferson Airplane, who for 2 seconds I thought it was until I double checked, and it's not. Jefferson Airplane, who sings White Rabbit, is Jefferson Starship, and I know nothing else about Jefferson Starship.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know the difference between the two, but I definitely wrote down Jefferson Airplane, and then I was like, wait, that's not right.
Nope. Airplane sings White Rabbit. Yeah.
Starship.
Yep. Nope. Airplane got that one really. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other songs that Jefferson Airplane has sung. Also, not to be confused with just Starship.
That is very true.
Starship is the one who sings "We Built This City," right? We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
I thought it was on Warshire Trees.
I think also Starship is the band that Hans Zimmer was a part of. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's some composer for film nowadays that is partly responsible for that shitty song.
Wasn't it John Williams' son is the lead singer of Toto?
Yes, I believe so. Something like that.
Yes.
So yeah,
all of this is pretty much irrelevant to the holiday special.
Oh, don't worry. It all comes back to the shitty music of Jefferson Starship. And this is another song that goes on for so long, and the song is so boring, and I have no idea what the fuck is happening. Anyways, that shit ends, and then Lumpy keeps himself busy while the Imperials are just searching their home, because this isn't freaky whatsoever. Yeah.
Well, the main Imperial officer kicks out Fondan. Is it Fondan?
Son.
That's what I've
Son
written
Dan.
down. Son. With an S.
So like Saul, but with an N instead of an L. SAUN. Like sauna.
Okay.
Like sauna.
Okay.
Sauna, no A at the end.
Sondan.
So yeah, I don't. Anyways, Lumpy goes on his like little computer thingy and starts watching a program that happens to be a cartoon about his dad and Han Solo, which makes no sense to me. So, really quickly, running through the cartoon, I'm going to run through a very quick version of this. Otherwise, we'll be here all fucking night. Cartoon, there's a search for a talisman. We get an introduction to fucking Boba Fett. 1978. This is the first visual media appearance of Boba fucking Fett.
Riding a dinosaur on a quote-unquote ocean planet.
Right.
But the dinosaur is like walking on the water.
It's walking.
I don't really know.
Boba keeps slapping the dinosaur on the fucking ass, which is weird. Luke is there. Han is there. Chewie's there. C-3PO, R2-D2. There's a search for a talisman thing. The talisman makes humans fall asleep with some virus thingy. I don't fucking know. So Boba convinces them to go find some cure for it. Turns out he's working for Darth Vader, who fucking knew. And then
Big surprise.
Boba leaves, and then the rest of them leave the planet after they find out he's working for Darth Vader, and the end of cartoon.
That's
End
pretty
of
much it.
Fucking cartoon. So Lumpy freaks out at some point with these adventures, but then
He gets scared by Vader,
right.
and he's like, ah! And then this Imperial officer comes over, and he's like, what are you doing? And Lumpy,
He's
like,
pretending to
you
play
can
it.
see him hit like 7,000 buttons on this thing. And the officer's like, oh, you're playing video games.
Right. I don't know
Continue on.
why it matters, because he's watching a cartoon. I don't know. Fucking know. Anyway, so upstairs there's another Imperial trooper who's searching through Lumpy's room, tears a stuffed bantha. Lumpy goes back upstairs, starts crying because his bantha has the head detached now.
Yeah, he's very sad.
He covers it with a blanket, which is fucking weird.
Tucks it in. He's trying to make it feel better.
So then he starts watching a video about how to put together the gift thingy that Sondan gave him, which is an Amorphian transmitter or something like that.
I just call it a transmitter.
Yeah, so there's another video. There's another appearance by Harvey Korman as the instructor on how to put this thing together. This goes on for far too long, too.
Yeah, I guess he's supposed to be like some type of android or something, and the entire time he just like glitches.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So anyways, that happens. We go back downstairs. There's another video screen that happens, and it's a screen that is showing life on Tatooine and that it's required viewing, so they have to watch this like boring security footage of Tatooine. But then we eventually go inside of a cantina. The band is there. We get the cantina song. There is a bartender. Turns out to be B fucking Arthur, which is pretty fucking cool.
That's her name in the holiday special.
B fucking Arthur. No, her actual name is Akmina.
Akmina.
She is serving drinks. There is a man that comes up named Krellman, tries to give her flowers. She says, awesome. Are you going to pay for some fucking drinks or no?
Yeah, she's totally B Arthur to this guy.
She doesn't give a shit. This dude named Krellman, by the way, is also Harvey fucking Korman.
Is it?
Yep, that's Harvey Korman.
Okay.
Again. So basically, he gets fucking shot the fuck down immediately. Then the Imperials make an announcement saying that there is a curfew in effect and everybody's got to go home. Akmina, B fucking Arthur, is trying to tell everybody, hey, go home. The Imperial troopers just told you guys all to go home. They're all like, hey, fuck you, we want to drink. So then
nobody cares.
Nobody gives a shit. She says that everybody else gets another round, which I don't understand. But then,
so did you notice so this is 1978, right?
Right.
But in 2018, like, this dude comes into her bar and then is like totally trying to lay it down on her, and she's like, nope, like, you're good, just order a drink, like, I got work to do. So he comes behind the bar and then just like
grabs her.
Yeah.
No. This
is a modern day sexual assault. In 1978, nobody cares.
Oh, believe me,
2018, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what does she do? She buys him another drink.
Yeah. It's like, hey, buddy, sit down. Here's a drink. And like pours a pitcher, and the way he drinks is like through whatever. I don't fucking care.
He's
Moving
got like
on.
A volcano head.
Yeah.
I don't know.
None of it matters. Nothing matters.
Like this.
Moving on. Nothing matters. B. Arthur sings a fucking song that is the most depressing fucking song on earth. Song goes on for too fucking long. Anyways, video ends. We still got so fucking much to go through.
No, we don't.
Let's rush
It's
through.
not that much.
Oh, there's plenty. So then we end the fucking sexual assault video on Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
There is a audio that plays back on the Chewie household. I guess I don't have last names that we're aware of, do they?
The Bacas.
Are they the Bacas?
No.
Lumpy Baca? Anyways, there is a audio signal telling everybody return to base, return to base, return to base. The Imperials leave. Turns out it's Lumpy just playing a sound on his thing. One trooper stays behind, figures out what it is, starts like fucking up Lumpy's shit again. Lumpy starts running around, leads him outside, and then Chewie is there. They start fighting. Han is there, also starts fighting this Imperial trooper, throws him over the edge of the fucking patio down. Like, they live high in the tree, so that fucking trooper's gone.
Yeah, so fighting and throwing you're being very generous there. But
right. We're just moving on. We're moving on.
I'll come back.
We're going fast. Let's see. So they go inside. Mala and Itchy are in there. Han is saying like, "Oh, hi everybody." Gives them a nice hug. Basically says he needs to get back to the Millennium Falcon before somebody finds it. But happy Life Day, everybody, and then gets the fuck out of there. There's another knock on the door. Everybody's all freaked out again. Chewie gets his bowcaster all fucking ready to shoot, but it's Sondan again there with more shit. There's another, like, the trooper on the screen. Sondan talks to this guy, and then that issue is all fucking done and over with. Let's see. And then, so wishes everybody another fucking happy Life Day. Life Day again. Happy Life Day. Hopefully everybody can celebrate Life Day. And then he gets out of there. Then Chewie, Lumpy, Mala, and Itchy all start lighting some crystals or something. They start standing around, and then out of nowhere they get some fucking cult robes on, which is fantastic. And then the screen gets all fucking weird and 70s kaleidoscopy, and then they start walking away. Turns out they're headed to the Tree of Life, where they will gather with other Wookiees. And
so they like walked through space into a star.
Is it okay? Yeah, that didn't register at all, because again, the special effects are TV.
You're probably correct in what actually happened, but what it looks like is they pick up these candle orb things, and then there's like kind of a fade to black, and then it comes back, and they have these red robes on, and then there's like this faraway shot, and the background is just like a starscape, and there's a whole bunch of Wookiees just fucking walking across space into a star, and then all of a sudden they're in this other place with like 1,000 fucking Wookiees, and then all of a sudden C-3PO and R2-D2 are there. And C-3PO laments that they're not actually alive, and they wish they could be, so that they could also celebrate Life Day.
So and fucking then weird.
from stage right, like in runs Leia, Luke, and Han, and
they're all there
Leia
to celebrate Life Day.
Leia expresses how happy she is to celebrate Life Day,
and then
she sings
a fucking song well. It's not a good song, but she sings it well. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
So, and that is in fact Carrie Fisher singing. I looked that up. Carrie Fisher full blown sings. And yeah, so basically we get everybody all celebrating together. And
my next note ends with another procession where Chewie doesn't get a medal, and then I have many notes after that, so it's not really the end of the fucking movie.
Right.
We get a Star Wars clip montage, and then we zoom out from these orbs, and Chewie and his family are like sitting around a table, sans red robes.
No robes.
They're all holding hands in prayer, or it's either time to eat, time to pray. Not really sure.
I don't know, but they bow their heads. Yeah. And then
it cuts back out to the outside, and this matte painting of Chewie's house looks way better at night than it does during the day.
I guess. Yeah, during the day it's clearly just an animated picture. I wouldn't even call it a matte painting. It's just a drawn picture.
I was being a little generous.
Oh,
but
quite,
it looks
quite generous.
The nighttime version looks better. And this is it. This is the end. We have a long bit of credits, and
yeah, that's it. That's as quickly as I could get through the holiday special.
Consider yourself holiday special.
Sweet baby Jesus. So let's start with some just overall facts. So again,
okay. What do you get?
the reason I want to stress the date is let's provide context for when the holiday special premiered. So this holiday special premiered before Thanksgiving, so it's not actually a Christmas special. A lot of people like to call it the Christmas special.
No, it's a holiday special.
It's a holiday special only because it's kind of just there. There are questions about whether Life Day is supposed to be analogous for Christmas or Thanksgiving. It could be either. It doesn't fucking matter, honestly. Like, there's food involved, which applies to both holidays. There's a tree of life, which applies sort of to Christmas, if you want,
Because there is a Christmas tree and a tree of life.
Right. I don't know.
Could be fucking Arbor Day.
Yeah, however, yeah, exactly. It doesn't fucking matter. So, November 17th is basically nowadays looked upon as Life Day. Upon the normal real world calendar, November 17th, Happy Life Day.
Yeah, I did have the question of when is, like, what is the Earth analogy of Life Day? Is it November 17th or is
Star
it December
Wars,
25th?
Here, it goes back and forth. As far as I was able to look up, on November 17th, StarWars.com will acknowledge Life Day, in their own way. It doesn't mean it's canon. They just acknowledge it then.
I understand.
But there's other evidence and there's other things that will happen where it seems analogous to Christmas, right? So around Christmas time, geeks will just say to each other, "Happy Life Day."
Yeah.
It's up there with like Festivus, right? So, but yeah, so the other context and the other reason I want to bring up the fact that it released in 1978 is that the world was so different in that Star Wars came out May 25th, 1977. Then a year and a half later, you get this. And it's around this time, like, that Star Wars is finally leaving theaters.
Yeah, so Star Wars had like an 18-month in-theater run.
Right.
So it would have been just wrapping up. And I don't know if you have any production notes on the holiday special, but it started shooting in August of 1978.
That's pretty
or
darn
September of 1978. Yeah, so this was like a 2-3 month turnaround.
Yeah.
It was done on a $1 million budget. And in the beginning, George Lucas was like, hey, sounds like a good idea. Like, all these other shows are doing these musical, what do you call them?
like review shows, holiday specials. Like there are other specials that are like variety shows, right?
Yep.
So
variety shows. So
yeah, this was a big trend of the late 1970s was these sort of variety shows. So that's why we get these weird excuses to get into these musical sequences.
Yeah, a lot of what this is, like you just said, excuses to get into these musical sequences and other excuses for Ben Burt to just like fluff his feathers.
Right.
Like,
and just
he doesn't
plop
have
in
just
sound effects.
Chewbacca. Now he's got Chewbacca, and he's got Mala, and he's got Lumpy, and he's got Itchy, and
Right.
there's over an hour of just Wookiee dialogue.
So the holiday special would be your only other piece of Star Wars stuff. Like, there was no home video release because it didn't fucking exist yet. So either you had to keep going back to the theater to watch and get your fix of Star Wars.
Right. Fuck, it just left theaters a month ago.
Right. And then, like this is our spin-off. Like this is more Star Wars content. And this is in effect the first expanded universe material period ever, right?
Okay. Do you know when Splinter of the Mind's Eye came out?
Off the top of my head, I don't. Because like the only other thing I can imagine that would have come out as well would have been the comic adaptation, right? So
I think that was later.
Right. So in reality, like this is going to be your first piece of just expanded look into the world of Star Wars. So yeah, like you said, the rules of like the fact that Arabish wasn't even set in yet. We kind of forget too that in the original print of A New Hope, there was still English letters in there, and then that got replaced later in various special editions, stuff like that.
Yep, first special edition is where that happened.
Right.
And I hate to but Splinter of the Mind's Eye did come out in March of '78, so this would have been the
second thing. Yeah,
second thing.
Yep.
So,
but still, so the idea, nonetheless, the idea is that the expanded universe as a thing wasn't really settled yet, right? So there was no pressure to do anything that had to fit in with anything else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And this was originally, I'll say, backed by Lucas. This is said to be taken from the story of George Lucas, and from what I can tell, is he was like, okay, yeah, holiday special, musical variety show, can we make it work? And somebody was like, yeah, we'll do this and this and this, and he was like, okay, and I guess maybe kind of came up with a storyline for it, we'll go to Chewie's planet, and we'll meet his family, and Han's gonna bring him back. There's this thing called Life Day, and that I can't imagine that he was like, okay, we're gonna have Jefferson
Starship.
Jefferson Starship coming in, and no.
Some lady named Diane Carroll.
Itchy. He's gonna watch some pornography. It's terrible.
Yeah, it is of note that George Lucas's name appears nowhere in the credits of this holiday special. Not once. Not even characters by. Nothing like that.
It doesn't even say based on story by or anything like that?
Nothing like that. Lucas is not mentioned once in the credits. I did not see if that was by choice of his or if an oversight, but you don't oversight something like not crediting George Lucas, who created this entire goddamn universe. But yeah, so...
What else do you have for history? And then I have some kind of more specific questions regarding the holiday special itself.
That's going to be my big one. Jumping forward, just to provide current day context, basically the way we're reacting to the holiday special, the time has not been kind to the holiday special.
Time hasn't really been kind to the 70s in general.
Hey, there have been other good things in the 70s. Let's also remember that the 70s was an interesting time where early 70s you're looking at Godfather 2, Taxi Driver, Dog Day Afternoon. Films were getting violent and they were getting gritty as fuck, right? So films, you're getting X-rated films that were still mainstream films to some degree, right? What it was which one is it? Midnight Cowboy, I think, is rated X, or no, not that one. Yeah,
I thought you were talking about Deep Throat.
Not Deep Throat. That's a different one. But but so to have just more context, in the middle of all that, then you get Jaws. That's a big. That's one of the big summer blockbusters, the first summer blockbusters in cinema history. Then a couple years after that, you get Star Wars, which is a pretty hard fucking sell at a time when people are wanting to watch films like Taxi Driver and Godfather,
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I saw a list of movies that came out around the same time in 78 that this one did, and the only one that sticks out in my head, I want to say, is The French Connection. Does that sound correct?
French Connection. The only other major fantasy film that would be out in 78 is Superman, the first Superman film, the Richard Donner film. So that's going to be your other big piece there. But again, think about this. That's another outlier because comic book films don't really become a thing. You get Batman 89, and then we get 10 more years of only Batman, and it's not until X-Men 2000 that kind of kick off the superhero trend that we are in now, right?
Yeah. X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah, so X-Men in the year 2000, Spider-Man 2002, those two will kickstart the current Marvel universe that we're in now.
Was the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2002?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Man.
That long ago. Yeah, because sequel came out.
Oh, because X2 was in 2002, and they both came out in the same year.
I want to say X2 was 2003, even. They were really close together. Because then X-Men Last Stand is 2006. And then that's when we get a long gap until First Class. So, we get X-Men Origins. We get Origins in the middle of that. And then we get 2008 for X-Men Origins, and we get another little gap before we get to First Class.
X-Men Origins, good movie.
Oh, no. Oh, God. So, yeah, just looking at trends there, because also like 78, man, we're talking like just a couple years after the United States pulls out of like the Vietnam War, even, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting some like Apocalypse Now is going to be coming out somewhere in that range, right?
Sounds right.
Right.
79 maybe?
79 sounds right. Yeah. So we're getting some crazy ass films.
It was a big. The late 70s were a big time for cinema. Big
time.
Oh
yeah, a big time for a shift in cinema that we won't see again until really the 80s has its own flavor, and then I wouldn't say there's another major revolution in cinema until like early 90s with CGI being introduced. 80s has a lot of stepping stones towards that.
Okay.
But yeah, so like late 70s, the only other oddity that I would point out is Grease.
When did 2001 come out?
68.
Okay.
Yeah, because 50th anniversary this year. But even then, 2001 was not a box office hit. That's a hard sell. That's a hard fucking sell. I saw it on IMAX this year for its 50th anniversary.
Awesome.
And that was
told me that.
It was an awesome experience, but it's all the same. It was a hard sell. Not many people wanted to sit in an IMAX theater, pay $20 and watch it for 3 hours, right? But so that's why when Star Wars comes out in 77, the fact that you have a space film that's based off of inspired by 40s films and samurai films, like that's a hard fucking sell. So then the fact that it's a hit takes everybody by surprise. There's a lot of other things. There's that show, The Toys That Made Us, on Netflix that talks about how they didn't realize how big it was going to be. So like even the toys they couldn't manufacture fast enough.
Yeah, they sold
empty boxes,
vouchers.
Yeah, like IOUs, empty boxes.
It was like a cardboard postcard that was like, buy this cardboard postcard for $9 and mail it in, and we promise we'll send you some toys.
And it worked. It fucking worked.
It totally fucking worked.
So that's a long conversation leading us to the reasons why holiday special would go through. People are hungry for Star Wars, and it's still going to be in 78, 2 more years until Empire comes out, right?
Yep.
So there's a long wait for the next thing.
I will say the movie viewing experience was different then. Like I said, the holiday special came out within a months, weeks after you would have been able to see Star Wars in theater. Like nowadays, you go and you see Avengers Infinity War, and like fucking 3 months later, you buy it on 4K UHD, and you can watch it at your house.
Right.
It runs like a movie that runs really, really well in theaters nearly overlaps its fucking DVD release.
Right. And the other thing, too, is let's remember also Cineplexes, multiplexes didn't exist, megaplexes, whatever you want to call them, all right?
Right.
Chinese theater in Hollywood had one screen. That was fucking...
How many screens are there now?
I want to say only like
3?
6 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've never actually seen a movie at Chinese in any other of the screens that aren't the main one.
Yeah.
So I think it's called like TCL 6. So that would be my assumption that there are 6 other screens in addition to IMAX. They converted the main screen into an IMAX about 5 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, so
that's cool.
That's the other thing too, is that, you know, Superman comes out and they want to show their movie, but Chinese is like, yeah, we'll show it, but like we also still want to show Star Wars, you know. So you got to trade off, right? So it's like there aren't constant show times for everything like there are now.
Right.
You know. And
yeah,
under these conditions, Star Wars makes over $400 million, right?
Yeah, it's $465 million.
Yeah. So,
and it was made 13.8.
Yeah.
They cost $13.8 million to make. Right. So I don't know what the math is there, but I can tell you it's a lot.
That's a big multiplier. Yeah.
Made a bunch of money.
Yeah. So this is why also when you look back at old box office reports, and I think we've briefly discussed this, Gone with the Wind is still number 1 if you count inflation. But that's only because that movie stayed in theaters for decades and people just kept going back to watch it because there's no other fucking way to watch these movies except
going to the Nickelodeon.
Right. So if one last side note on the culture of film viewing back then, the only hangover that still exists to this day is Disney's vault system. That's the vault system that Disney uses with their home video releases is an emulation of that old style. Like, hey, it's going out of theaters until for the next decade, you know. And Disney sticks to it, man. Like, they fucking stick to it. Like, Beauty and the Beast came out in DVD in 2002, and they
do it with their animated features. They don't do it with
smaller
all of their properties.
But they're bigger ones. Like Beauty and the Beast came out in DVD in 2002, and it did not see a Blu-ray release until like 2012. You know, that's a long fucking wait in between releases, especially when like HD is happening, and it would be nice to upgrade.
Well, I can imagine that if George Lucas did not sell Star Wars, that we would all still be waiting for fucking Blu-ray. Well, I guess the Blu-rays came out before, right?
Yeah, so we have official Blu-rays.
But it would not have been released on digital.
Right. Yeah, so anyways, that's kind of the last hangover there, but
he'd be selling Episode 9 on fucking Betamax.
Likely, yeah.
But, yeah, so... That's kind of the history. Unfortunately, women were viewed differently in culture at the time, which is why we have a lot of these things that
these sad gender stereotypes.
Yeah,
like
that's a good way.
Yeah, Mala's in the kitchen. She's constantly in the kitchen, and
she's wearing an apron.
Yeah,
like not only is she in the kitchen, but she's wearing an apron. And
Son Dan, to distract the Imperial troopers, also sends her back into the kitchen to cook something. He's like, oh, she's busy. She needs to go back and cook stuff for Life Day. Sorry, guys, you can't.
Oh no! What he says is he goes, "Oh, Wiki Food's not that great, but I think I can probably whip something up in here. Molly, you're gonna help me, right?" And that's how he separates her from them, so that he can talk to her separately, because they're like, "Oh yeah, of course, like one belongs in the kitchen."
Yeah. Go back in there.
Otherwise.
Right. I like the idea, though, that B. Arthur, or whatever her name is like an actual owner, proprietor of a bar, you know? But
yeah, what is her name?
Something with an A. I don't fucking remember. But
I didn't write it down.
But Akmina. But
Akmina.
the fact that this dude just straight up goes behind the bar and like she basically
Like,
gives him a stern like no.
Mm-hmm. And he's still like, he just comes up behind her and just
like
embraces her, right?
Yeah. So
Trying
like
to
he
use
gives
polite words here.
like a hug from behind, you know, a surprising Joe Biden, shall we call it?
Yeah, this is not something that is socially acceptable in this time period, much less promoted on a holiday special for Star Wars, you know?
Right.
But back then, it was, it was whatever. I'd like to get back to kind of some things that happened.
Go ahead.
And just kind of fire off some questions.
Please
and see what you think about them.
Mm-hmm.
So now Luke speaks Shirewook android because he's in a scene with R2 and Mala, and he's just talking to both of them like it's nothing. And then later, he just kind of forgets it.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up the fact that he is overly make-upped and has a different close-cropped haircut.
Yeah, it's still long up top, but it's short on the sides. It's not quite as flowy as we saw in A New Hope.
Yeah. So I don't know if this was just like a disco haircut that he was like, man, I need this thing, man. I don't know. It's weird. He is wearing eyeliner, which is very apparent. I got nothing against men that wear eyeliner and or makeup and or have weird close cropped 70s haircuts, but it's not very Luke Skywalker.
The only thing, and I didn't look this up either, I know he was in a car accident between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Is that prior to this?
Nah, that's got to be after it. That's got to be in at least
79
79
range. Yeah, because I know there was a car accident that kind of fucked up his face a little bit, you know?
This is not what's going on.
I just didn't know if the makeup was like, yo, we got to cover up and make you real pretty. But yeah, he definitely looks like he had just left Studio 54 on a raging coke bender.
Yeah, he's more Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. He definitely looks like he's about to sing some songs from Rent. Yeah.
That is the second musical that I ever attended.
Yeah.
First one being Phantom of the Opera, and the second one being Rent.
Classic ones. Carry on.
Next thing I got is that Han makes note that Chewie never misses a life day. So that means from Solo, a Star Wars story, to A New Hope, they're headed back once a year.
Yep.
To Kashyyyk. I'm wondering if Life Day isn't something that happens every year. If it's something that has to do with like alignment of stars and shit like that, because Wookiees live. I mean, Chewbacca's like 200 fucking years old, right? So that tells me that this maybe is a longer time frame, like between life days, than us normal humans are used to, where we're like, dude, we got to celebrate it every year, or minimum like every 4 years,
back.
or like gone, So that's my thought, is that maybe Life Day isn't like a yearly thing, or maybe it's not even pinned down to like November 17th, It might be more of a like a cosmic thing. I mean, they are transported to like the Tree of Life or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is not a yearly occurrence.
Yeah.
But this is something more in tune with the cosmic force, if you will.
Yeah, that's a likely possibility. It's just not clear here whatsoever. So anyways.
I think Mala is a spy because she has Lorenzo, you talked about earlier, this hidden TV that she has.
Right.
And one of the troopers that is like searching the house almost finds it. And they have these really nice like it's like a 70s stereo cabinet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like bookshelves on the side, and there's like a slidey panel in the front, and you slide that open, and there's like a stereo system.
Right.
But really, that's fake, and you slide the stereo system to the side, and then there's like another computer screen behind it. And she uses this to spy on Art Carney and his little trading post, and to spy on Luke Skywalker. Like, she can just like hit some buttons, and then she's like tapping into either security cameras or comlinks or something.
Right. It makes sense because it could be Chewie's stuff too, you know, and she's just along with it for the ride. Right?
I guess I always got the impression that like Chewie was taken prisoner or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ended up as a slave in the Empire. Later, he was saved by Han Solo, and since then, he and Han had just been like bumming around the galaxy, and
Mala's just
maybe
doing her
maybe
part.
because of like the extended life of a Wookiee. Like, if you spend 50 years with a guy, you know, that's like going on crusade for like 3 years, like, yeah, and then you're back home because, you know, you were 197, now you're 231 or whatever. Like, it's less than 25% of your life, so, you know, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
I don't really know. I don't know how Wookiees work.
What else you got there?
When it comes to this cooking program that Mala was watching, you mentioned that the Harvey Korman's character that is doing like the cooking demonstration. One, I'm pretty sure most of it's like ad-libbed because
it goes nowhere.
What do they make?
It
goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Bantha surprise, right?
So
And
they have to pull out
time
Bantha rump roast.
Right, and the whole time he's like, she, I guess, is consistently like just like grabbing spices and like eating them,
right,
instead of like putting them in the thing. And at one point she's like, 1 for me, 2 for me, 1 for the recipe. But you suggested that the skin color is supposed to be like purple?
I couldn't tell. It definitely...
My note is this brown face ? Black face ? Like,
from a distance, that's definitely what it looks like. Is definitely some weird blackface going on. But by the 70s, blackface had definitely gone out of fashion already. You know, so that's why I hate to bring it up. It is Life Day and all, but Harvey Korman's playing an alien, so that's going to be like the only justification for it, right? Like, they're just putting makeup on this person. He's not playing a black character. Does that make sense? So it can't be blackface at all, and therefore, like, I found nothing offensive with it. It just looks bad, you know.
Yes, I agree.
It looks bad, but in no way is Harvey Korman going like, "Meh, it's cooking," you know.
Okay.
So, yeah, like, it on the offense scale, this is a nothing. So,
yeah, no, I'm glad. Like, I try to keep my eyes open to things, and I don't want to look too deeply into things also at the same time, if that makes sense. So having somebody else give me their perspective to be like, nah.
Yeah, no, like this. No,
like,
he's playing an
totally
alien.
good.
He's playing an alien. I agree. It just once just changing the skin color, regardless, just looks bad. But in this case, he's not playing Diana Ross, right? Like,
okay.
So,
do you think that Han has brought Chewie home for Life Day in the past?
Yes. I think so.
Okay.
So based on what we get in the first scene, it sounds like Han is very familiar with Life Day. What I don't understand is why Leia and Luke are familiar with Life Day.
Yeah. I guess because they're all best buddies.
But they talk about it like they have celebrated Life Day with Chewie before, but they would have theoretically only met in the previous year.
Yes. Well, maybe. The movie takes place a year after the first movie, but that doesn't mean that the timeline does also.
What?
I'm saying that 1977 and 1978, but that doesn't mean that from A New Hope to the holiday special, that timeline in universe doesn't have to be 1 year.
I don't disagree. It just there's nothing else to state otherwise, right? Like this definitely has to take place before Empire, right?
Presumably.
But again, contextually speaking, we have movie and then visual media. We go from movie to this. Like that's all we have. There's no other EU business really, except for Spectre of the Mind's Eye, right? Splinter.
Eye?
Yeah. Is Spectre the Ender's Game sequel? Is that what?
I don't know. Spectre is the name of
the Bond villain,
the
conglomerate.
The Spectre is the name of the small ship on it's like the transport shuttle of the Ghost of the crew of Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, that's right.
It's the Ghost, Spectre, and that's their name for each other is Spectre. It's the Ghost, and then what the fuck is
their code name for each other, or the code name for the ship itself?
They're like, aren't they like Spectre 1, Spectre 2, Spectre 3,
don't
Spectre
recall.
4, Spectre 5, Spectre 6.
We'll get to
the
that.
The Ghost, the Phantom. I don't know. We'll get to that.
Anyways, what else you got for this
one? Does this cartoon exist in universe?
See, I don't fucking know. I don't know what this cartoon is. Number one, let's mini review on the cartoon. The cartoon sucks ass. The cartoon is so
I will say the cartoon starts very strong, and then it's like, we don't know where we're going, so it's just like,
yeah, it goes,
and then everybody's like, oh, we gotta go, see you later.
Nowhere.
And Han's like, I probably can't trust that guy.
So fast. What I do find interesting though is as far as I know, and I did a quick search, but it wasn't an exhaustive search.
I didn't even look into it at all.
This is Harrison Ford's only cartoon voiceover, as far as I can tell.
That's interesting.
Unless you can think of anything else. And the only other thing I saw is that he will be in The Secret Life of Pets 2. So
weird.
So yeah, think about it. I can't think of any cartoon he would have been in. You know.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that one.
So as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, oh, or like any of their voices, because it's definitely Mark Hamill's voice, and we know, yeah, he's done voiceovers. So has Carrie Fisher.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's done a lot.
Oh yeah, both of them. You know, Mark Hamill and Carrie have done plenty of voiceover work. But yeah, Harrison Ford. You know, nope.
I've got 2.5 more things, and then we can move on from this and give this thing a final judgment. So everybody knows that George Lucas was adamant that there is no underwear in the Star Wars universe, and I think it's very apparent when Leia comes jostling herself into the first scene that she's in, that the only thing she's wearing is her overrobe.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
I feel like maybe some producer on the show might have taken that one step further than necessary here.
The 70s were a hell of a time, man.
Very, very true.
What you got next?
I don't know which one of these I want to do last. So I think I'll go with the pronunciation of Chewie's planet. Kazook?
Was literally about to ask you that too. One Imperial trooper calls it Kazook, and we never really hear it mentioned ever again. Honestly, the planet is never named ever again, other than once being called Kazook.
You're talking about in the
holiday
special,
special
right?
specifically.
Yeah.
In the holiday special
Yeah.
specifically. We never hear it again.
This is Kashyyyk, not Kazook.
Right, yeah.
And I guess that's just somebody like, this fucking word has like 3 Y's in it.
It's
I don't know how
Kazook.
to pronounce it.
Yeah. We're calling it Kazook.
Or whoever tried to write Kashyyyk didn't spell it right in the script, and then the person didn't pronounce the misspelled word correctly,
Right.
and it comes out as Kazook, and nobody gave a fuck.
Right.
The last thing that I have is, we covered it a little bit, but what the fuck is this celebration, and how the fuck did the entire main cast end up like transported through time and space with magic crystal candles? Like, I don't even. This is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
It's probably not the weirdest thing in this holiday special, but it's very, very bizarre.
It is just odd. So that said, Life Day is never really mentioned anywhere else in current Disney canon, is it?
Correct. Not that I know of, but I believe that Mala and Lumpy minimum.
I know they.
Canon.
Yes, they made.
I don't know
into,
about Itchy, but I know the 2 of them are.
Yeah, Chuck Wendig, I believe, wrote both of them into his Aftermath series. So I've only read the first one. Lumpy is not in that, but I do believe.
Well, so Lumpy's full name is Lumpawaru, right?
Yeah.
And in whatever novel that he shows up in, he's called Waru, not Lumpy.
Right. So weird. Just call him Lumpy.
Yeah.
Just call him Lumpy. Just go with it.
And
Stick with it.
Mala is for sure. I think maybe Pablo Hidalgo recognized that she is 100% in canon. But so there's bits and pieces of this thing that are coming into canon, but definitely not the whole thing.
Well, yeah, definitely not Jefferson Starship performing a song.
Hey, you never know. Maybe later down the road. And I guess that would also mean that the Han Solo Boba Fett cartoon would be canon. It's the weirdest thing ever.
The one thing...
That's like a legend of a legend at this point.
Right. I will say that I did enjoy that they gave Carrie Fisher a song. Like, it's so fucking weird.
I think she pushed for that. I think she was like, no, this'll, like, we're doing a variety show, right? Like, this is my opportunity to prove my voice. I think that in later years, Carrie Fisher talked about it, and she was like, I sang.
Here's what I read.
I did. It was not great.
I read a quote from somebody else who described her as going through a Joni Mitchell phase.
Yep.
And that totally shows in her performance. She's definitely singing with a Joni Mitchell-esque intonation about her. So, hey, why not?
Yeah, I think she admits it also, or
she did.
I guess I have to put that in past tense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nope. Yep.
So, well, let's
close this out, man. We've talked enough about the holiday special.
No more beating around the bush. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and I think we have to clarify. Thumbs up means you like it, not it's good. Thumbs down means you don't like it, not it's bad.
And even with that distinction, here's how I'm going to say it.
Okay.
I'm giving this a loving thumbs down. Okay?
Okay.
It's the same way I give The Room and Showgirls and Zardoz.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, those are thumbs down movies. Those are definitely all still more entertaining than this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, The Room doesn't let up, right? Showgirls doesn't let up either. There are moments of this holiday special that feel like a fucking lifetime. Like, and the Jefferson Starship and the Diane Carroll sequence, which while you were speaking at some point, I looked up Diane Carroll and I feel really fucking bad now. Number one, she's still alive. So God bless her. She is the first black woman to win a Tony Award for Best Actress.
And that is something that I'm surprised that you didn't know already.
That is badass. But yeah, no. My history of like Tony Awards is less as extensive as Oscar history. Oscar history, I'm gonna be able to handle that. Tonys are hard because like musicals are so alive. Like we can't, I can't watch Porgy and Bess right now. You know what I mean? Like I can pop in The Godfather and watch it, but it's a little bit harder to go back and watch Starlight fucking Express or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm enamored by live performance, but then my history and understanding of it drops off very quickly because of the inaccessibility to the medium therein, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's who Diane Carroll is. Just wanted to bring that up. But beyond that, I didn't know who the fuck she was before this. And
yeah,
I
didn't know who most of these people were.
We get a good scene of her moaning, and that is probably the best song of the bunch, but it's still fucking weird as shit. But yeah, so like I said, this is bad. This is really bad, and there's like a 45-minute version of this holiday special that could be bad but entertaining. At 97, this thing is a slog. This thing is a chore to get through, especially like the first 10-15 minutes of just Lumpy and Mala and Itchy just pantomiming to each other with Ben Burt going full throttle nuts with the sound effects.
Here's where I'm going to disagree with you.
Go ahead.
The first 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed a lot.
Uh-huh.
I think Itchy is a creepy character.
Yes.
I think the musical interludes are unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this gave me the same feeling that From a Certain Point of View did.
Mm-hmm.
I really like a couple of the things that happen in the Baca homestead.
Right.
The least entertaining parts for me were like the cutaways to Han and Chewie and like the not very well done TV reproduction of the Millennium Falcon cockpit.
Right. Yeah.
And to me, this is good and enjoyable in the same way that like really terrible horror movies are.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no like B movie, well, there's no B movie like holiday musical variety shows, but if there was that genre, this would be on top of it. So I am going to give this one a thumbs up, not just to be contrary, but because, you know, I don't really care that the plot is thin at best and that like the musical numbers are unnecessary. Like, to me it was enjoyable. Like I could totally put this on
long.
And it's not that long,
Like,
man.
oh god, it felt so long. Like I felt like I aged 10 years. Like, but
You
like
know
I
what
said,
felt really long to me was Age of Ultron. And like if it was like
disagree.
Age of Ultron or the holiday special, like I'll pick the holiday special.
Like, look,
and then I'll watch Age of Ultron.
Like if I was hosting a holiday party and I wanted to put on something on the TV to just kind of play in the background, you know, like you get your Die Hards, you get your Home Alone, I would put this in that list, right? Because this would be a conversation starter, no fucking doubt. Like that's fine, but in that in that context, like I'm walking away, I'm grabbing cookies, I'm making small talk with people around me. I wouldn't sit down again to specifically watch this. Does that make sense?
I guess what I'm saying is that if I was flipping through channels, if I were to have channels, right, and this was on, I would watch it in the same way that I would watch the Sharknadoes,
right?
And that I would watch
right.
the Humans Centipede,
Right.
I like these types of movies that are they're technically they're not great,
right?
And they don't have the they don't have the technical aspects to give a thumbs up, but
right.
because of the way that I enjoy them,
and that's perfectly fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's why I prefaced mine by saying it's a loving thumbs down. Because, like, I will watch The Room all the fucking time. Like, I've met Tommy Wiseau. You know, I have his autograph on a bobblehead of his back ear somewhere.
Nice.
But all the same, I still have to give that movie a thumbs down. Like, The Room has to get a thumbs down. Showgirls gets a thumbs down. But you better believe that my friends and I love Showgirls. You know? But all the same, it gets a thumbs down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I
think I get it.
Yeah. And I get your point as well. That said, I am so glad I finally sat down to watch this.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is not the first time that I've watched this, and this will not be the last time either.
Right.
So,
thanks for listening. That is our take on Star Wars Holiday Special. It's on YouTube, so if you want to watch it, there it is. If you want to talk to us about what we thought about it, join the conversation, you can email us at notthenerdspodcast@gmail.com. You can reach out to Kevin at Twitter at notthenerds on Twitter. I'm on Facebook at notthenerds podcast. You can find this iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn. If those are audio only, for this one we're doing special video presentation, so this is on YouTube. But otherwise, our regular episodes do go on YouTube as well. We also want to give. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would recommend tracking this down on YouTube, watching it with a friend, and letting us know what you think. Are you Team Kevin or are you Team Lorenzo here? So,
don't bring back the team dynamic that needed to die.
Right?
That needed to die with True Blood and Twilight. Like, we need to kill the team dynamics.
No team, but what can we do?
Yeah, just join in the conversation.
Tony, team Captain. You should have been wearing a Tony Stark shirt, and we could have just went Team Cap,
which I don't have. Actually. But anyways, as always, we want to give a shout out to Lindsay at strangefantasymusic@gmail.com. She put together the jingle that you hear at the beginning and end of every episode. And also, we want to thank Kevin Warren, who put together the regular artwork, the cover art that you see if you're looking on iTunes or Google Play. But otherwise, yeah, wherever you're watching this, wherever you're listening to us, like, subscribe, just let us know what you're thinking about. But that has been our discussion on the Star Wars Holiday Special. That said, have a happy Life Day. Have a happy
Life Day.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Year's
everything.
Coming up.
Yeah. So whatever you celebrate, wherever you are, hopefully you're with family. Hopefully you're not working. Hopefully it's you're cozied up by a fire if there's some snow happening wherever you are. Yeah. But hopefully it's some good food. So enjoy. Please enjoy.
Yeah. So until next time, I've been Kevin.
Lorenzo Phan over here.
These aren't the nerds you're looking for.
Bye-bye.